What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
We hope you're all doing well. Sorry this episode's coming to you a little bit late, but we are going to make up with it by talking about a lot of fucking awesome music like we do as always. But before we get into that, the big music news since we've been away is the Super Bowl halftime show in which Kendrick Lamar performed slash buried Drake in front of the world. Uh, I think that if you didn't like the halftime show, that's just purely a matter of your musical preference. It was incredible from my perspective. I thought the performance was great. I thought that any like takeaways people had that were negative that came from actual fans of his were like, oh, he didn't play, all right or things like that. But he also had a little feature during the Dr. Dre halftime where he did play those songs. So I don't know. I thought that it was very of the moment. We got a few surprises like Peekaboo. SZA killed it. Her mic was definitely on. She sounded fantastic. I sent you the picture of him smiling to camera immediately before you got the context of what he was doing in that scene. So when you
Yep.
watched it like 20 minutes later, what did you think of the whole thing?
So I liked the performance. I thought that it was Good Kid, Mad City Erasure, but we're not going to go there. Um, I, uh, I, I loved SZA's performance. I love
Yep.
Serena Williams crip walking all over the field. I
Yep.
thought the dancers choreography was a little meh. But I
Sparse, sure.
think I think he did it, bro. I really liked both The Weeknd's and Bruno Mars's halftime performance. I think that they both kind of have that sound that really works. But Kendrick's performance was most definitely of the time, like you said. We didn't get a lot of Good Kid, Mad City because, well, that album's been out for how long now? 20, or I'm sorry, like 12 years,
Yeah,
13 years now.
please don't say 20 years quite
It's
yet.
about it's about to be there, bro.
No, you're not wrong. It's closer to that than I want it to be. Yeah, it was very GNX heavy, but I think that was for the better. He also threw a little some freestyles and ad libs in there. I really enjoyed the performance. I I think that this is the end of all the Drake stuff, at least until the lawsuit goes to court, whenever that is, if it doesn't get dismissed, which it probably should. But I think the game over in the lights and the crowd at the end of the performance kind of signified the end of all of this. Obviously, that was tying into the PlayStation layout of the stage and all of that, but I think we were all reading 1+1=2 on this.
I
Um,
saw I saw a great video. My wife sent it to me. The Zach Woods. He's talking about everybody. He's on Drake's side apparently with the lawsuit because apparently
okay.
other rappers have done other petty things like call in noise complaints or tell the auntie that something was going on. So I thought that was funny. But man, Drake's buried. It is what it
Oh,
is. We had a
I mean,
we we had a
there's
Drake
50
stan at
Cent.
work. Why say fuck me for? Um, no, we shout out to Bree. Bree is used to be apparently a big Drake fan, and I remember when Euphoria dropped, and I remember being like, "Your boy's fucking cooked," and today she was bumping Kendrick like all day. So
Yeah, I know a few people that were in the midst of the battle sharing, family ties and all these, and were being like, oh, Kendrick picked the wrong fight, and have all since been like, Kendrick's the GOAT, Kendrick's the GOAT, which, like, you don't need to bow down or kiss any rings, but it is funny to see people, jersey swap so fast whenever their favorite artist is on the losing side of something.
yeah, man, it's been a fun feud, and Kendrick won it, even just based on like timing of the drops alone. Kendrick won, bro.
Oh yeah, and by the end of the feud, we don't mean the end of, endless articles. Drake is still going to play into this every fucking chance he gets because he's a weirdo and he'll double down on being a weirdo because he doesn't get how fucking weird it is.
Right.
But man, to take it back away from Drake, I thought the performance was outstanding and it probably did a great job selling any remaining tickets to the tour that him and SZA have coming up.
Yeah, yeah, that should be good. Yeah, SZA crushed it. I think Kendrick's mic was a little off. I think the mixing on the actual like feed was off, but SZA's mic was most definitely on, like you said.
Yeah, she was belting, sounded good. Yeah, there's always some audio issues. You know what was missing? Keem. We have not seen or heard from Baby Keem in way too long. I think since the Hillbillies song release and performance at Flognaw that year. So interested to see what he's been working on. I feel like once the Kendrick stuff dies down, when and if that ever is, we have to be getting some new Keem, right?
We have to be. Yeah, I'm glad that we got to hear what was it? Squabble Up, but
Hmm.
no, TV off. And I'm glad that Lefty Gunplay didn't make an appearance at the Super Bowl because he probably doesn't deserve that one. And I just don't think that Keem has the household recognition, if you will, to perform at the Super Bowl. But I definitely think we need a new Keem album.
No, a 94-year-old grandma that's like a Chiefs fan would not know how to respond to the shoes I feel are huge. Like you can't do that, man. But I'd be ready for it. You and I would be, if nothing else. You
100.
ready? You ready to get into it this week, man?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. My favorite artist, no, one of my favorite artists right now, Dom Dalla released his long-awaited track. I guess long-awaited in my world is like 2 months. This one's
Yeah.
featuring Daya. It's called Dream, and you already know I love this, man. I sent you it a few weeks ago. I said it was one of my most anticipated. I think it's going to be one of the bigger dance songs of the year. He just announced his Ibiza residency, his first time doing that after this was released. I still think that after hearing this like official release, it's going to be in our in DJ's, playlist at the major festivals coming up all throughout the season. It's a great song though, man. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, man, it's a good track. Dom Dalla do be killing it lately.
Yep, probably my song of the week. If I'm being honest. Also, though, I do wish it evolved a little more in the back half. If I'm being nitpicky, but still a
I
great song.
mean, welcome to Tech House, John.
Uh, thank you. A song I honestly can't nitpick at all. New Sonny Fodera with Clementine Douglas. Tell me. Sonny crushes it on the production as always, but I cannot think about anything other than how great Clementine Douglas is anytime I'm listening to her sing. She's a solo artist outside of this, but has made like a big name for herself, providing vocals for a lot of the biggest dance producers of the decade so far, much like Hala has done the past few years. She elevates every song she touches. Play the popular tracks on her streaming, on any streaming site you use, and it plays like a greatest hits already, man. This is just another feather in the cap. It's insane how good they are together. What'd you think of this one?
100%. You had texted me something like Clementine Douglas over everything, and you're right. Yeah, she sounds fucking great here,
Always
and
good.
I think it's I think her voice is complemented very well by Sonny Fodera's
Hmm.
production. And man, always had a soft spot for this dude. I think he dropped an album on Defected that just spoke to me. He even samples Kendrick in that one. And yeah, this is a really good one, man.
I'm glad you liked it too. New one from Neil Francis. It's a remix of Teardrops, a club mix to be specific. What'd you think of it?
Fantastic little club mix on this one. Another artist I've always had a pretty big soft spot for, and
Yep.
yeah, this does it.
I agree, man. Really good. I think it's a weird time to release this remix. I'm not sure if it's like an anniversary of the album that the original song was on or what, or if this just came about, but I think maybe as just a pre-festival season song, it's a good time to release it.
I don't think they've ever been much for like timing the traditional music drop market. So
Fair. Yeah, nor should they be. All right.
right.
We got a few pop tracks to talk about this week, man. Lady Gaga's new one, Abracadabra. I know it's been out for a while. I still really don't know like how I truly feel about this, or either that or I know, and I just still don't want to say. Like I think the truth can be multiple things with this song. I think it can both be way too derivative of Bad Romance and still be good on its own terms, but like I'm having trouble accepting that in my head. I see her monsters around the world eating this one up, and I want to eat it up with them, but like that little devil on my shoulder whispering in my ear to be a hater is really hard to ignore. But man, I still think a less than prime Gaga is still better than most artists at their best currently. So I'm along for the ride no matter what. Did this one land for you, or did it feel just like a repeat of something we've heard before?
Yeah, I'm just going to straight up disagree with you. But here's the deal, John.
Please.
You can most definitely unleash your inner hater, unleash your outer hater on this podcast. I want to see how short that fuse can get. I actually really enjoyed this track, man. I really hope that and she has an album coming, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mayhem.
I hope that it's all this. You know what I mean? Like, sure, she's done this before, but this was good. I actually think that her Coachella set is going to be one for the books, man. I think that these tracks that we're going to get on the album and on the lead up to the album is just gonna they're gonna kind of take new life as they always do when we watch her stream on the Coachella main stage. So let's go, Lady
You know,
Gaga.
I saw someone online say Gaga is at her best when she's vaguely Catholic, and I think I can at least agree with that sentiment. The video's great. Really, really good choreography as always.
Yes.
Got a new one from Lisa from Blackpink, Doja Cat, and Ray called Born Again. I think this one's better on paper than in terms of execution. I think it's a little bit overproduced and kind of sands away any interesting edges that any of the artists on the track have in favor of a diet Dua Lipa sound that never quite connects for me, despite it being, I guess, subjectively fine. What did you think about this one?
Bro, you hit the nail exactly on the head and you described and articulated something that I could not articulate all week. So
Thanks,
thank
man.
you. I agree
Yeah.
100% with you.
Like, how are you going to have Ray on the song and not let her just Ray the fuck out for a
Let
while?
Ray cook. If you're gonna hire her to feature on your track, let her cook.
But this is going to do 500 million streams minimum. Like it's going to be everywhere. It just sucks that it's not as great as these artists are capable of. This Lisa album is going to be a huge one this year, whether we like it or not, though.
Yeah. Yeah, against our will, it will be fucking gigantic.
A new one that I am happy to be getting. It's not against my will at all. It's the new tennis one, man. Weight of Desire is the song, the name of their new single. I don't know what the name of their new album is, but it has been announced. They're back. They're more sensual than ever. Just more of this, please, dude. I love this one. What about you?
Inject this into my veins, John. This is so good, man. So good.
Yeah, big fan. We'll see what's next. I feel like either it's going to be a quicker rollout or it will at least get one more single in the like not too distant future. But this is a hell of a start.
Yeah, her voice sounds a little bit more filtered on this one than it did on their last one, but I'm not mad about it, you know, like it like really works. So
Yeah. If I could manifest a collab, Gavin Turek in tennis would just be outstanding. I don't know if that would work better in a remix capacity, but I think that those stars need to align sooner rather than later.
love your
Um,
brain.
Thank you, man. Got a new one from Lights, alive again. You just saw her come out at the Silverstein concert. I don't think
Sure
you or
did.
I had any idea we were getting a new Lights song and a new album, which I don't have the release date in front of me, but her new album A6 is coming. What did you think of the track though?
I actually really liked this track, dark synthy, kind of like really I it just kind of like just kind of dark, man. I loved it. New album on 5/1 May 1st, I believe.
That's it. Thank you.
Yep.
I thought it was good. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It's a pretty simple indie pop tune, but she does this sound really well.
Yes.
A song I do love, to nobody's surprise. This new one from Rima, Baby, Is It a Crime? How he got a sample of Sade cleared is beyond me, but he makes the most of the blessing he was given, dude. This is really well done, and it's not just like a well-tailored sample around a nice beat. I think the vocals are kind of perfect for it, and I think he did it justice. What about you? Do you think he did it justice, or is this sacrilegious?
I really like this song. I don't think we've ever really covered like a lot of African music, or at least if we have, it's been
Maybe some like
unbeknownst to
Burna
me.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is fucking tight, man. I think the reason he got that Sade sample cleared was because I think two of his songs have been on Obama's summer playlist, so you can actually say thanks, Obama.
Obama is not making that goddamn playlist. I know he says he does. He does not make those playlists. It is bullshit. Come on the pod, prove me wrong, dude. Come on. Let's
My
talk
man,
shit.
my man has the Secret Service on Spotify searching for underground artists.
Pull up that
I
new
feel that.
periphery. Yeah. Not happening. Not happening, dude. Don't believe it. All right. We got this new one from Giveon, 20s. I'm a big fan of Giveon. I think his voice is kind of one of a kind, or at least one of a kind for the era that he's in. Really, really wanted to like this, but it's just not doing it for me. This kind of slower, more introverted style of R&B is usually more your thing. Did it land for you or no?
Yeah, and no, I agree with what you're saying. I think his voice carries it, and I think the very unique and specific tonality he has with his vocals really carries pretty much everything he does. I hear what you're saying though. I get it.
I think it's the instrumental. Like
Yeah.
it's not like we've heard this specific instrumental before, but like he keeps doing these like and it's because they stream well, but he keeps doing these ballad songs that although lyrically are not in line at all with what I'm about to say, but they're almost like prom ballads. It's this like tempo you slow dance to at like a school dance, but the lyrics are not about that type of shit at all, which I guess the songs we were dancing to back then were not either, but you know my point, man. Like he just needs to spice it up, I think, on the production end, or maybe work with some producers like as features outside of this to kind of broaden his own sound. I just feel like we're, two albums about to probably start this rollout for a third. I just want to hear a little bit of variety at this point.
That's super fair, man. I agree with you, and it is the instrumental that kind of holds this track back. But like I said, his voice is, and like you said, his voice is maybe not one of a kind, but for right now, it's great. I will just never ever forget. I remember being on like a live comment feed of the Coachella stream a couple years ago, and someone someone said during Givian's set, someone's most definitely getting pregnant in a porta potty right now, and it just it just stuck with me, you know.
That's true for any music festival, though, if you ask me.
I don't know, man. Duck sauce is playing. I'm not paying attention to much else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. It's not happening at Prairie Home Companion shows. All right, dude. We got a new one from Tommy Richmond, Acting Up. Not working for me. I like the sample. Obviously, it's a good sample. But the like blown out aesthetic, trying to redo kind of the $1 million baby thing. He's trying to recreate a hit, and it's not working for me. And I think I'm not factoring this into my review of the song, but he made a lot of waves after either $1 million Baby came out or his last album to say he is not hip hop and what he does should not be considered hip hop in any way. And now a lot of people are accusing him of being a culture vulture and, very clearly using hip hop influence in his music, which I think is undeniable when you hear songs like this, whether you consider it pop or R&B or whatever. It's very hip hop influenced. I don't know. I don't really factor that into it, but I do think that there's maybe something to his thought process and just trying to recreate something that worked in favor of trying something new. But what did you think about this? Like not having that context, were you able to just kind of
I
enjoy it for what it is?
I mean, it's more of the same from Tommy Richmond, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I expected exactly this somehow when I press play on it. I love when the internet gangs together to make some of the most silly observations of music like of all time. None of that matters, man. Do you like the track? Because it's fine. It's not great, but like culture vulture, come on, bro. It's
I
okay.
think my weird note with this one is every single he's released has been better than anything that was on the album he released. Why the fuck release that album in the state it was in? Like, you clearly know what sound like people have associated with you over your first few singles, and then you just drop a dud like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a genius move that we just haven't realized yet, but it just reminds me of the dodgeball scene where they are about to forfeit, and Jason Bateman's like, "Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for."
Yeah, like it's like Phoebe and Friends, where she's like, "Oh, he's not even appreciated in his time. Wish I wasn't appreciated in my time."
Oh man. The reference points are always there for us. All right, man. Let's talk about this new Doechii one, Nosebleeds. Dude, this is an incredible track. She either recorded this before and had it ready to go, or immediately recorded this after winning a Grammy. My guess is before, but that's fucking crazy. Like, I'm glad we won, so we got this track because I don't think we would have if she didn't win. That would have been a little weird. I love the track. I wish it had a little bit more bass and music in it at times, other than just braggadocious stuff. But it's Doechii being Doechii. Like, if you don't love that by now, then just switch to the song off because that's what you're getting, man. What do you think about this one?
I just love the vision of Doechii grabbing a Grammy and then hitting Uber Black to be like, "Hey, I need to go to the studio." You know, like it's a cute little victory lap for her, man. I'm glad she's been killing it. She deserves a victory lap, just like Killer Mike deserved to put out a broom for sale after he swept the competition. All that is real.
Yes, very much so. Well said. New one from IDK and Denzel Curry, SU. I think it stands for Switch Up. They
Which
crushed it on this one, man. Love both verses. Great beat. What'd you think?
absolutely crushed it, man. I've been really liking IDK's music these last couple of years, man. And
Hmm.
anybody who's ever listened to my podcast or our podcast has known that I've been really loving Denzel Curry too. And yeah, they both crushed it, man. This is great.
Yeah, really good. Another new one from Saba and No ID, Woes of the World. I cannot believe we're gonna get a full album of this, but another great track, no surprise. What'd you think?
This collab project is so good, bro. We'll talk about this a little later, but I love it when producers tailor the beats to the artist, and this has
Hmm.
very much been that. This the fourth or fifth single we've gotten so far, and
Yeah, I think
my
fourth.
God, man.
Uh, Excellent, man. Cannot wait for that album. New one from Courtney Barnett. A lot of love. What are your thoughts on this one?
I know how you feel about covers, John, and quite honestly, I think I'm with you on this one, man. I don't think you can cover Neil Young. I'm not even a big Neil Young fan. I
Yeah.
blindly added this and then went and then went and listened to it, and I was like, oh shit, this is a Neil Young song.
Yeah, I think Courtney Barnett's a talented musician. And I think if she busted this one out live, I would be able to appreciate it, but it's a tough one to cover and get appreciation for in a recorded version at this point. Not terrible though. New one from Deb Never. This Alive is the name of this song, man. I missed her voice. Really glad she's back. I'm a big fan of this one. What do you think about it?
Another Deb Never song, another song I really like.
Yep, as is tradition.
Those are my notes.
Got a new one from Shoreline, featuring Joy Taylor of Knuckle Puck called Forgive. I listened to this track way more than I thought I would when it came out. So catchy. Big, big fan of this one. I imagine you are as well.
Pure pop punk, bro. This is so good.
Yes, like it's the type of pop punk I wish we got more of, but sadly don't.
Yeah, this is 2003, just pure pop punk. Like
Really
it's
good
so
shit,
good.
man. You threw this next one on here. Never Any Ordinary is the name of the group. The Best of You is the track. I thought it was really good. Enjoyed it every time I came on this week. I don't think we've talked about this group before, though, have we?
We have not. This is out on We're Trying Records, which is a just a fantastic record label name. This is the first track I think I've heard from them, and I think they've got a great sound, man. They've got that emo like right down, and I love the brass in this song, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the brass as well. Anytime that comes into a track like this, my ears tend to perk up, but they did it very well.
You said trumpet and emo, I'm in. Sold. Twist my arm, why don't you?
Racimo, please. New one from Seisha. Three Faces Past is the name of this one. It's another great track from Seisha. Looked into it. It looks like this is part of a three-song EP that they made. I'm not sure if that's already out on Bandcamp, but they're going to be releasing the third song on from that release on streaming next month to kind of finish this release out. But I'm a big fan of both tracks we've gotten so far. What'd you think of this one?
Song is so fucking good, John.
They crushed it, man. They do very, very well. Excited to finish the CP. I wish they would have just released it all at once, though, kinda.
Yeah, for three songs, that would be kind of a bummer if that was the case. But they're back together and they're writing music. And I can
Correct.
only hope that they do a couple of shows and they look at each other and they're like, oh, this is fun. We should do more of this. And then they go into a studio and they write music.
I think that they announced a vinyl release of like some of their older stuff as well, and maybe this three-song EP. So they're definitely doing stuff. Don't give up hope quite yet.
Yep.
All right, new one from Arch Enemy, Paper Tiger. This one hasn't grown on me as much as the last single so far, but her voice still sounds ferocious. Pretty good track. What'd you think about it?
My notes are, this is what Iron Maiden would sound like with screams.
Well noted. Last single this week's from Spirit Box, No Loss, No Love. This great song to end the singles with, man. Maybe my favorite of the rollout so far from Spirit Box. The lyrics are on point, man. Her vocals, as always, are awesome. The music's great. Can't ask for more, man. What'd you think about it?
Poppy is really just out here writing bangers,
Shut the
man.
fuck up.
No, this is fucking great. So like actually ferocious. Like the first time this song came on, I was like, "Oh my dear God,
Yeah, Tsunami Sea
hold
comes
on to
out
something."
March 7th, and sadly, I do not see a Megan Thee Stallion feature on it, but hopefully we get a remix
Damn.
or something.
Think we'll get glow.
On Spirit. That would be fucking awesome. That would be awesome. All right, man, we got a few EPs to talk about this week as well. This first one has been just on repeat for me since it dropped. Charlotte DeWitt and Amelie Lens, One Mind EP. This two-track EP just fucking rips, dude. Both tracks are incredible. Where Do We Go being my favorite of the two. Definitely going to be on the best of the year playlist. I already know you liked these two. Just the question is how much.
Yeah, I love this collab so much. Acid techno, just done and very much them. Like you can with electronic collabs, I love when you can hear, which I think I said this like twice last week, but I love when you can hear the both artists' contributions, and you
Hmm.
can definitely hear that on this end, even with admittedly how similar these two ladies make music. And
Yeah,
I loved this one, man. This is great.
same man. I think we're gonna be looking back on this one as like a holy shit, how did we get this? Hopefully it's not the
Right.
last though either. I want more.
Yep.
This is gonna be one of those like $75 vinyls in like 5 years. Guaranteed.
For real. Hey, first I'm gonna just throw a petition out there.
Yeah.
Amelie Lens back to back, Charlotte DeWitt at Quasar at Coachella. Dude, let him cook for 6 hours.
I was very surprised to not see Emily Lenz on the EDC lineup as a solo artist. I don't know if she was listed as a back-to-back artist because I ain't reading all that, but I looked under A's for AM for her name and I didn't see it. DeWitt is playing though, so maybe there's hope she'll bring her out.
Hey, let's hope.
All right, talk to me about this new Mind Loader tracks, Dissolver and Still Life.
Out on Interstellar Audio, which is a fantastic little underground D&B record label I found. I just
Yeah.
wanted to shout them out. They've been putting out some fantastic releases. I think this is the second of theirs that we've covered. Yeah, man, both of these are like chill, but also really in depth. Like Still Life has got this like progression throughout the track that's just so good.
Yeah, dude. Both of these are just great, like you said. The percussion is so crisp and satisfying. I really like the way Dissolver plays out, honestly. They're both really good tracks, Still Life, like you said, but Dissolver every time it came on, I had to turn it up a few notches, you know?
You know, it's funny. I had a drum and bass track like stuck in my head, I think on like Tuesday or Monday. And I was like, man, what fucking song is this? Like, what is it? And then I hit the playlist again and I was like, oh fuck, it's Dissolver.
Yeah, it's a kind of a hard one to identify mentally, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a good one, bro. It's a good one.
Yeah, good shit, man. We got our first Roadhat release of the decade so far, or not the decade, the year I should say, the half decade though. It's
There you go.
Yuval and Rodad. This is the Kinva EP. I can't believe it took over a month to get our first Rodad release of the year, but man, the
I
wait is
know.
over. It's a great EP as expected. Obviously, Kinva '01 is my favorite because of all the little claps in it, but you knew that,
I
man.
knew it. I
What'd
knew
you
it. I
what'd you
knew
think of this
it.
one?
Look, man, I think any techno head would agree that Road Hat is probably one of the best producers in the game right now. He just consistently puts out proper techno and is one of those like rare DJs that like not only is fucking great at mixing, like you can go to any of his YouTube sets and be like, oh, this is a fucking banger, and say that again and again and again for like 4 hours. But he also has this like prolific back catalog discography of like actual proper fucking banging techno. And Yuval, obviously I'm not too familiar with, but yeah, let's go. This is great.
LFG. Talk to me about this next one from Luigi Tozzi called Sentient.
So this is out on Hypnus Records. It's a big one. Luigi shows hypnotic techno producers how to fucking do it, man. This is, I'm gonna go on at 2 a.m. and play until 6, and about
Yeah.
3 a.m. comes on. This is what you play for the next fucking hour. This is so fucking good, John. What did you think?
I mean, leave it to our techno release of the week to have a song titled Uterus on it, man. Solid EP, though. Reptilian should be playing in reptile houses all across the country right now. I really think
100%.
they'd enjoy it as well. They like discordant sounds, you know?
You know, it did tickle my lizard brain, so
All right, one more EP this week's from Pillars of Salt. It is a self-titled release. This is the new industrial noise project from Carter Holston, aka Memory Derelict, who we've talked about a few times on the pod, as is usually the case with industrial noise. Has tons of streaks and screams and chaos to enjoy for the sickos like us. Plenty of fuzz and decay as well. Even though it's a brand new project, I feel like you can still hear some of the DNA from his other project buried deep within this one if you're listening close enough. The music is very different, but the like lingering feeling of dread is still there, albeit in a different manner. It's a good release, should make for a really nice starting point for the new project. What did you think of this one, man? I gave you no context.
you gave me no context, and all of this is brand new information. Thank you, Carter. I've never met the man, but thank you. Thank him. Buy him a coffee for me.
Will
This
do.
is a fucking tight, man. It is a blackened electronic screamo, and my God, did I love this. This whole thing is just fucking tight.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm really glad you enjoyed this one. I had a feeling you would.
The atmosphere that's created with all the distortion and all of the like it's like distortion over reverb is what I'm assuming. Ask him for me, but the heaviness and the darkness that's created with whatever he's doing is really fucking neat. So I like this one a lot.
Hell yeah, man. Glad you enjoyed it. We got a few albums to talk about this week. Are you ready to dive into those?
I sure am.
All right, man. Let's kick things off with this new one from Larry June and Two Chainz, produced by The Alchemist. It's called Life is Beautiful. What are your thoughts on this one, man?
All right. Well, I added this one. I saw Larry June in The Alchemist, and I go, oh, bound to be good, right? I think Larry June and The Alchemist really shine together. And you know how much I love it when producers do like an entire project for a rapper. It just feels so like purposeful and ends up having, to me at least, a much larger impact. Which is why I added it. I think Two Chainz takes away from this project a little bit, just kind of pulls it back a little bit. Not on every track.
Hmm.
I think he has some moments, but I think Larry just either thrives as a feature or with like a couple of features on his projects. And that being said, this album though is exactly what I thought it would be. It's chilled out beats with southern drawls, and cannabis seems to just fucking ooze out of every bar and every corner of everywhere on this record. They say nothing terribly important, but this record is great for smoking, driving, both, just chilling, really anything, man. It's great to just throw on in the background and just get it, you know? Uh, I really like The Alchemist. I don't know if you knew this about me, but
I do.
I think I liked Larry June's last collab album. I think he did one with The Alchemist recently, last year or the year before, maybe. And this, if it's anything like that one, this one will grow on me, just like that one did. What'd you think? Oh, this is a 7 for me. I didn't really pick a standout,
It's
so
bad choices. Yeah, dude, I thought it was good. It's still a little too cold in the PNW for this type of rap to really hit for me at the moment, but I still enjoyed it. I was even tempted to Google what it takes to get an LLC at one point when listening to it. So I think mission accomplished from the boys on this one.
it's
The
not that hard.
production, it really isn't. I did Google it. So maybe don't brag about it so much. It's really pretty easy. The production from Al is fucking impeccable as always, dude. The bars from June are as insightful as they are effortless, and Two Chains is Two Chains. There's really not a lot for me to say about it beyond that, like you, man. It's good. I like it. It's a strong 6 to a light 7, but I could easily see this one growing on me over spring and summer. My standout is Bad Choices. I think that's the one where it all
It's a
comes
good song.
together.
It's a good song.
Um,
Yeah, I think I missed something in my review. I think this record does pair with Sunshine, and that's something you probably have in short supply up there, up in the north.
hey, you're getting rain right now too, so shut up.
I saw the sun today though, so
All right, man. New one from Jinjer called Duel. What are your thoughts on this one?
I am so fucking glad that I got to see this band last year. They have such a unique way of making metal. Is this gent, John? Is gent even a genre? I think Periphery answered that, so I loved your shout out to Periphery earlier. I don't really care about any of that. All I know is that this album fucks. The album jump starts with Tantrum, which is just a super heavy track.
Hmm.
Great bass line on this one, reminiscent of Job for a Cowboy's album last year. The breakdown on Tumbleweed is fucking great. I love the way her cleans just kind of float over the music on like Green Serpent, where the instrumentals are just going off and she is just singing her fucking heart out in what feels like a different time signature somehow. Dark Bile has some of the best riffs on the album, which is saying something because this record has a ton of great riffs, like on that title track, which I love that they closed with. It's got this like early 2000s new metal riffing while injecting all of the great contemporary things we've come to know and love from Jinjer. I loved their last record, and I was actually pretty doubtful that this one was going to come close, but it came close, bro. It's a 7, 7 or 8 for me. Dark Bile or Green Serpent are going to be my standouts.
Dude, yeah, I'm kind of in line with you. As expected, they fucking brought it. You know, her voice is as good as ever. The drum fills on this album are out of this world. Like the speed, the precision, just
Yep.
the mental choices at play in those moments are insane. It's as good at being melodic as it is at being heavy. It does what all of the things like I hoped it would based on the singles. It did. Tantrum opens this one on a great note. I love how plucky that track gets. Hedonist, probably my favorite lyrically on the album. The I'm not a theorist, I'm an expert line, my favorite delivery on the whole album. The title track we talked about last week is the album closer. Still rips, but my standout, which I'm sure you guessed when you heard it, Fast Straw, dude. Just 3 minutes of straight shreddage. Probably the heaviest song on the album. Very, very much my type of metal song, man. I enjoyed this one. I think it's a light 7. I'm gonna say yeah, Fast Draw is my standout with Hedonist as a close second.
Yep.
All right, man. Talk to me about this one from Squid, Cowards.
All right, man. So I actually really wanted to like this one more than I actually did. It's like a Black Country New Road had a baby with a band that like drove next to Idol's tour bus for a while on their last tour while listening to Neutral Milk Hotel. It's artsy and it feels like it's trying extremely hard to be so. At the very least, the vocals and the lyricism. Instrumentally, John, this album is fucking gorgeous. Like, take Fieldworks 1, for example, the strings and the guitar loops, along with all the chord changes, all, and how the song progresses, all work so wonderfully together. My God, are the lyrics trash on this track? That's basically how I feel about the whole album, man. It's a tough listen because it's a little challenging to listen to, and the lyrics and the cadence and the vocals kind of take me out of it like so hard, unfortunately. And it is unfortunate because I really like wanted to like this one. If this was an instrumental album, I'd be all about it. But because it is not, it is somewhere around a 4 to 5 for me. I didn't pick a standout. I listened to this one a couple
Wow.
times, and I
In
just it didn't hit for me, bro. I know
I
everybody's loving it, so tell me what you think.
I mean, I'm not gonna say loving it, but yeah, I disagree, man. I think that this is a good album. I think you knew that's going to be the case immediately, but maybe that's because, like you said, when that first instrumental kicks in on Crispy Skin, it's such a powerful and overwhelming
Yeah.
note to open the album on musically that it's impossible not to lean forward a little bit when listening to it the first time. I think that their way of writing is good. It's a little like hypnotic and artsy at times, but I can see how that might not connect in the way that they're delivering. I feel like, and this makes so much goddamn sense, but I feel like the low-hanging fruit comp for them is Radiohead. And while I don't totally disagree with like
Weird.
some of the similar, it's just like art rock in general, I feel like, and it's mostly just in the way they're layering certain instrumental aspects. It's not like he doesn't
I
sound
know,
like
I know,
Tom
I know,
at
I
all,
know.
but I don't, I just think that their specific brand of experimental indie meets post is slightly different than others. At the very least, it doesn't feel derivative to me. Like Building 650, one of the more straightforward tracks on the album, is also one of my favorites, just because they keep it complex, but it's all driven by this fairly simple riff, and that kind of reminds me of the art rock groups that I'm used to and like already. In terms of the back half of the album. Cro-Magnon Man and Cowards, I think is probably the better two-song run on the album. There's moments on the album I did not enjoy as much. It's funny you bring up Fieldworks as like a moment you really appreciated because that two-song stretch is kind of where the album drags a little bit for me, even though there's very high-level musicianship things going on. That
He's a
doesn't really
God-fearing man,
elevate it.
John.
Yeah, goddamn right. Man, I don't know. It's like it's a solid 7 for me. I think it's a very good album at the very least, and I think Crispy Skin and Building 650 are my standouts. I'm gonna go Crispy Skin though. I think that one really does it for me. But I
Cro
totally get where you're coming from.
Cro-Magnon Man is good. And again, like you said, I mean, a crispy skin is like it's a really like tough thing to open on. But you know, I love challenging music, and I actually listened to Crispy Skin and was like, oh, this is not what I want. You know, like it's just kind of just like one of those moments where you're like, oh no, I don't like it.
Yes. Yeah. I am more than familiar with that feeling, man. So please don't feel like you have to qualify it at all. I totally get it.
I don't. I know I'm in the minority here because apparently all of music nerds in existence are like Squid, and I'm like, please don't. So
Does their fan base have a name? Is it like the Inklings or something? Or is that like a
I, I don't know, man. It should be the Squids from Rocket Power, and that's about it.
God damn it. We should start a Rocket Power Pod someday, man.
And we
Uh
do that.
can we please? All right, man. Let's talk about this Chlothegod album. I feel different every day. In terms of runtime and the amount of tracks, I would not usually consider this a full-length album, but in terms of the quality of the songs we got, it is more than substantial for me. It's clear that she puts a lot of work into every little detail, and the end result is a release like this that's like really hard for me to find any fault with. It technically falls under the umbrella of a few different genres. I could spend time trying to like classify each song or moment into like a different type, but I think that's a waste of time. She clearly doesn't think of a genre when creating the music, and I don't really try to think of it when listening to it, I guess. It's hard to do that as somebody with like undiagnosed OCD who wants to try and put everything in a box, but when an artist like her comes along and kind of forces me to think differently a little bit, I enjoy that. We first heard her on this podcast last year when Lola Young did a remix of one of her songs, Out of My Mind. We noted the similarities between their voices and styles when we talked about that track, and there's definitely moments on here that kind of veer into that Lola territory, but she goes so many other places I never expected as well. From the moment I heard I Swear for the first time, I knew this album was going to be really, really heavy in my rotation going forward, and I've been right so far, man. I love that song, love the vibe she's bringing on it. The title track blows me away every time it comes on with just how expansive the bridge is and how progressive these just every like in terms of the mood she progresses it, not just the music. Digging Around has this like Kenny Hoopla type of punk energy to it that I wasn't really expecting but enjoyed. I could go on all day about this one, man. I will just leave it at I loved it. It's a strong 8 for me. My standout is I Swear. What do you think about this one?
So, yeah, I will actually agree with a lot of what you said. You said that when I looked at it, I was like, this is 22 minutes. John would have put this as an EP. And then so I actually didn't listen to it until I had time to like actually actively listen to it. And my God, I'm glad that I did. I love how
Mhm.
accessible this is, man. Her voice is so beautiful and everything complements everything else going on. I love like there's moments here that like have really interesting production choices and they feel really like tech forward as far as like studio tech goes, but
Mhm.
simultaneously really don't take away from like the acoustic or like the raw feeling that really is what I believe that she was trying to go for. If you go on like the back end of my girlfriend hates me, she's got these like double vocals, and if you've got stereo headphones on, you'll hear her saying one thing in your right ear and another thing in your left ear, but it all works and makes sense and you can like decipher it and like you feel it, like my God.
Mhm.
Like you said, I Swear is a great fucking song. Digging Around is a good song too. There's not a bad one on this, and for 22 minutes, it was such an easy listen. I was literally just I want more. Like I want more of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Fair.
it's a
Fair.
7.5 out of 10 for me. I'm gonna give it a swear. I swear, or my girlfriend hates me. I actually really like my girlfriend hates me, so let's call that my standout.
That one's so good too, man. I'm glad you really enjoyed it. I will agree the only knock on it is that there just is not more of it. That's what we need. Uh,
Correct.
all right, man. Talk to me about this Alarico one, Sonora.
With pleasure, sir. Alarico has released on some of my favorite labels and is one half of, I believe it's Primal Code, with the other half being Clar, who we also love on the podcast. But
Hmm.
Alarico has just, bro, he did it. Like this is so good. This actually is not an album. It's more of a uh, about half of these tracks, I think, were taken from his live sets where he was just fucking around and jamming on stage and then decided, oh, I like this, and then pulled from it and then like mixed and mastered the track. I believe Boiler is one of those. I believe Stingray is one of those. And I believe I Used to Like God is one of those. The other tracks are clearly like studio produced tracks that like I think went well with it. But
Yeah.
my God, man, I with Iruka, the first track on this, um, having so many claps on 2 and 4 for techno is and have it still feel like proper techno is kind of wild to me, man. Tracks like Caress After Lies is they're interesting, but like Mezcali Sangre and Chlorid and Ashes of Regrets all just go so fucking hard. This is prime time. This is midnight. I just went on. I'm about to fuck this crowd up, techno, and I'm about it. I was about the whole thing. This is an incredible display of techno prowess. I'm gonna give it somewhere between an 8 and a 9 for me. My standout
Damn.
is probably Mezcali Sangre.
Damn, you enjoyed it a little bit more than me, or a lot a bit more, but I still did enjoy it. That's high, man. That's high praise. I enjoyed this one, but I think that it made for a better passive listen for me than an active listen. I really, really like the opening track. And no, it's not just because of the claps on 2 and 4. I think that what Iruka does a really great job of is setting the tone for the album, but I wish it wasn't the only song with vocal chops in the manner that it has like that. Like the rest of the album is very good, but it also feels not jarring because it settles in very nicely. But I feel like after the way it started, it's weird that some of the themes from Iruka don't come back as often as I thought they would over the rest of the album. But the way you're saying the album was kind of constructed over time makes that kind of make a little more sense to me. It wasn't really created with the structure in mind necessarily. But I still really like a lot of the tracks on here, man. Obviously, Iruka's my standout, but in terms of the album cuts, Ashes of Regrets was a really good one. That one hits like a motherfucker, dude. The track or the album for in total is probably like a strong 6 for me. Standouts Iruka though.
Yeah, I actually wish that he would make an entire album around that sound. I think that he really thrives there. He found a groove. I almost wish he closed with it, you know? Like I wish that this was the closer, not
Yeah.
the opener. Ashes of Regrets is a great song. I really liked it just because of how much I love his production style, the way he uses percussion and drums is really expert level stuff. Like this is I don't know if
Oh,
you've seen the
agreed.
video.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the video of Jeff Mills just playing techno for 15 minutes on a 909, but it is amazing. And it reminds me of that because of the way that he uses the drums and the percussion, because it really is just pure techno. And I think that's why it hit my heart like it just, like stabbed me in the heart and was like, you're not leaving. So I think that's why I liked it so much.
Oh, pure techno went straight to your heart, Brandon. Big surprise.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I like what I like.
All right, man. Let's finish things off with this soft vein album you threw on here. The album's called Through Blinds. Talk to me about this one.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, John, I have been exploring goth music a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you're welcome. Number two, I will be adding it to the playlist as I see fit. This is one of those times. It's really dark, really synthy, really fucking moody, and really fucking good. The drums on this record grabbed me. It's like they ran a Roland 707 through like a reverb pedal or something. It's amazing. Everything on this album has just like layers over layers over layers over layers, and it just really, I don't know, man. This one grabbed me. This was actually released last month, but I didn't want to go another week without reviewing it because I've been actually really liking it for a minute.
Fair.
But a lot of it isn't complex. A lot of this is really simple, and a lot of this works so well because of its simplicity. And even though there's like at moments of like on God Whispers, there's like six synths just kind of like doing their own thing for like a second. It still seems really rudimentary, and that simplicity really brings out, I think, his ability to make like dark wave, goth wave, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I loved this, man. This was a lot of fun. I am gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Zwischenfall or God Whispers are gonna be my standout. What do you think about this one? Dying to know.
I liked it as well, man. I would consider this dark wave, and we do not talk about a lot of dark wave on the pod, but I think I'm usually a fan when we do, and this was really no different, man. I like the sound. More importantly, I like the feel of his music. He's able to capture a mood or a vibe really well in a way that comes across, like you said, really simple, but it kind of just hits on a deeper level because of that. Songs are very well written, very well produced. They sound well, they were mixed well. The lead melodies got stuck in my head more times than I thought they would. I hear a lot of European influence in it. It's
Mhm.
like what I imagine like The Cure would sound like if they released something on Boys Noise Records. I don't know. It's bizarre, but it all works, man. It's a really good album. Solid 6 for me. My standout is those first two songs together, Through Blinds and Fall. We will definitely have to check more from him out going forward, though.
Robert Smith please reach out to Boys Noise.
Please. Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't happened. I'm surprised Boys Noise didn't work on the Cure album last year.
Yes.
All right, man, that does it for us this week. Tune in next week. We got a big release week coming up. We got like new albums from They, Hands Like Houses, Shy Girl, Bleeding Through, Lacuna Coil, some of the Blackpink members, a lot more. We will be breaking down the best of it. You can follow along with everything we're going to be breaking down by following the link in the show notes to our weekly rotating playlist. You can also find us on Instagram and Reddit. Just hit follow, say hi, and we will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.